Hello ladies and gentlemen, in this video what we'll do is we will go through the best heroes, the best carries in 7.33c. Now the carry matchup, generally the role of carry is the most important thing in Dota. If you didn't know that until now, you do now. And of course the carry matchup out of everything in this game called Dota 2 is the most important thing. So what we'll do right now is we're gonna list the worst heroes and going from the very worst to the very best to the very best, right? If you're new to the channel, hi, my name is Jeff, I'm an 8K player in the Europe region, and what we do in this channel, in reality we just create Dota content and then we just give it to you. So let's not waste any more time and let's get this started.
Moving up and down, side to side like a roller coaster.
So there are actually 6 categories, S, A, B, C, D, and the category you should never play. So we're gonna start with the why would you ever play that shit category, which is Gyrocopter, Clinks, Spec, and Leshrac. Now Gyrocopter and Clinks, I haven't really seen Gyrocopter at all, but why would you ever play that? And Clinks, for the same reason, I've seen it, but there is a really simple reason why you shouldn't actually play that. There is just not enough damage for the hero to kill enemy heroes. It's a really snowball hero, and if you die once, then you don't really have a lot of chances of coming back. Spec, he doesn't benefit from the bigger map. You need items like Radiance and Manta. You need too much, and for all of these heroes, the laning stage right now in 7.33 and later 7.33b and c, the laning stages are really extending. So the heroes that don't really have good laning stage, just like Clinks, he's really weak, just like Spec, they don't really have a chance to actually succeed. And Leshrac, well, Leshrac gets countered by, well, the current meta right now, which is all about agility carries and a lot of Scaddies and diffusals. So Leshrac has a really hard time. Of course, in this video, we're gonna analyze everything, right? So let's go into D tier. Now, D tier is actually heroes that maybe their numbers are not good, maybe they just don't farm that good, that well, or maybe the heroes that are really strong, that really define the meta, are really good against these heroes. For example, Lifestealer. Lifestealer, for example, is a hero that the map is 40% bigger, but, well, he doesn't really farm any faster. So that's actually pretty problematic. While his laning stage is good and he's really strong against some really specific enemy strength heroes, versus agility heroes, he's not really that great, right? Sven, for example, I think Sven, he's really weak as a laner, and while he benefits a lot from farming from, the rest of the camps, I find him really weak, and of course he really struggles versus the really the S tier heroes, high armor heroes. He really struggles versus Scaddy, and this is also the case as Wraith King. Now, Wraith King, I think he's a fine hero, but again, he just struggles a lot versus the mid laners, in my opinion. So a lot of diffusal blades, from Pangoliers, from Wind Rangers, and as a result, you're gonna die. You don't really benefit from reincarnation. Alchemist in 7.33 used to have a lot of potential, but in my opinion, they just nerfed the hero too much. Grievous Greed, too much of a nerf. They nerfed his ultimate, they nerfed the acid spray. As a result, I think he is really good if you all of a sudden you're like really farmed 80 minutes in, but if you're not, and you just die once or twice, then that's it. It's so hard. So Alchemist is a really good 5-man hero to just farm really fast and go in the game, but if the game actually does not end, then you will struggle. Now Luna is the same thing in my mind as an Alchemist. So Luna is the definition of something like Alchemist, Beastmaster, 5-man, 20 minutes in, go in the game. But in reality, Luna has no good carry matchup. So in my mind, like, Luna is the worst carry out of all. But if, or for example, it's like 3-slotted, 4-slotted, 20-25 minutes in, then it's just good to go. Sniper got some really good buffs, but I feel like the problem with Sniper is that you get to play in a meta where like infinite Spirit Breakers and Void Spirits and generally heroes that jump, and while he's really strong laner, heroes are just gonna jump on you in the end and you're just gonna die. So that's a problem with that. Weaver I think has the same problem as something like a Lifestealer. She's a lane dominator. I can see how she can just buy diffusal and stuff, but she's not really that much flash farmy, right? So it's a hero that's gonna snowball, similar to Riki type of thing, but her stats are just not as good. Draw Ranger, similar to Luna, weak laner, so extended laning stage, what's the problem with that? You're gonna die again and again, and similar to Sniper, you're gonna get jumped on by Void Spirits, by Pangoliers, by Ember Spirits, so it's not like you're gonna have a good laning stage and then hopefully you're gonna count on that to snowball. In reality, you're a combination of Luna and of a Sniper, so as a result, Draw Ranger has like no chance in this game, right? She really struggles both in the lane and the mid game, and she doesn't flash farm. Razor, I love this hero, I think he's great, but I think that with all the nerfs in 7.32 and the static link being nerfed again and again, I think that the hero again doesn't really benefit that much. I think the only carry player that plays that is Crystallis. Of course, she's a Razor spammer, Razor player, really good. But I think that the hero is overall well deserved in the D tier. So the C tier. We're gonna start with Void Spirit, and now Void Spirit, I think actually he deserves a slot, well deserved in the C tier, because yeah, he's not your classic position one hero, but he has some, just because he's universal and he just gets a lot of stats and a lot of damage, you can go for some like Treads into Bracer into Wraithband, and then you just go Echo Saber into Manta, or Echo Saber into Silver Edge, or Echo Saber into Desolator, depends, but I think it's really, he has some potential in the mid lane. Similar to Void Spirit, Abaddon, again, you can just go, for example, Facebook into Bracer and then just go straight up Radiance. I think he's an okay hero, but I feel like the reason why these heroes are in the C tier is because they just struggle really big time to the A and S tier, and if you don't manage to pressure them that much early on, and for example it goes a little bit later, then your chance of winning is really rough. Okay, Magnus, I think Magnus is a little bit overrated. I think that with the Echo Saber evolution, I can't even recall the item, and the Skewer Back has some potential. He's a flash farming hero, but also it's a hero just like the strength heroes that he gets hard countered by an item like Skadi. So I really struggle that, for example, Medusa, that's like way higher and has actually made the meta what it is. Medusa is like way higher. Also, really natural Skadi buyer. Magnus, I really struggle to see how you will kill a hero like Dusa or a hero like Windranger that we know so far that they are in the upper bracket, right? Anti-Mage, I think he could be like, if you're an Anti-Mage player, he could be on the B tier. The problem with Anti-Mage is that he needs too much time and he's not the strongest laner. So for example, you struggle a lot versus the S tier to pressure them early on. I can see Anti-Mage, for example, being an off-laner and just pressure them, but I really don't believe he deserves a slot in the B tier, mainly because he just needs too much time, and right now, Battle Fury Manta, and you need another one item to fight, right? So you really have a hard time. There's just not enough time, right? If the games were to end 40 minutes in, that would be great, but they're not. All of a sudden the game might end 20, 25 minutes in, or they can just get such a great lead that by the time they're in your high ground, you're just even not ready yet, right? So I think that's kind of a problem. Now Ursa actually is one of the carries that I really have faith, and I actually suggest that a lot in the students, and here's why. Ursa is a C tier because he got nerfed a lot with the Aghanim Shard not getting dropped by the second Roshan. So that's a really big problem. Also, extended laning stage, Ursa isn't the strongest laner, so that's a problem. The second thing is that, sure, you have some benefits like still taking the Roshan and taking solo the Tormentor at 20 minutes in, but this Tormentor is not guaranteed that you're gonna get to pick it up. So you have to waste another 14 gold to actually buy the shard, which is extremely must and extremely important, right? So I think that's a problem with Ursa. And also, compared to the higher bracket heroes, higher tier heroes that we're gonna see, he might actually lack a little bit of damage to kill them, right? And there are heroes that are really annoying to catch, like Ursa doesn't have a catch and they might be able to catch him. It's really annoying. Terrorblade, I think Terrorblade, if you're a Terrorblade player, you could easily put him not only in the B tier, even in the A tier, but if we're talking about pubs, Terrorblade is always going to be a competitive hero. He's not a pub hero. So it's really great. He needs a team around him. A team to provide him a lot of auras, a team to provide him a lot of stun. So he's gonna right click. So we seem like in competitive scene that actually Terrorblade is a great hero, but in the pubs he's not that great. So we see players like Watson, it's a great, but I really believe that he's not a pub hero. As a result, I can never put him below C, but I can never put him upper, like B tier or A tier for sure. Phantom Assassin, I think Phantom Assassin is a great hero. The problem is that after the BKB nerfs, Phantom Assassin, I find the hero struggling a lot. While I like the laning stage, still the extended laning stage is not good, so you will either get stomped and you don't really get the comeback, or you will stomp the lane and maybe you have some kind of chance, right? And also I think that she kind of got an indirect buff by getting the Orb of Distraction, a tier 2 jungle item, back to the game, really boost your game, but there is also not enough time to get this Battle Fury Desolator. You have to get this Battle Fury BKB, and BKB also kind of sucks on PA right now. As a result, I feel like she's a C tier. Occasionally she can be fine if she's like last pick and you know your matchup, for example, you to play versus Anti-Mage or versus some really low squeezy laners, or you believe like you can snowball in the lane. I believe the hero has potential, but he cannot be like B tier. Okay, Shadow Fiend, I think that Shadow Fiend, the reason why it's a C tier is, again, you might have limited chances of doing really well, like compared to the Medusas and the Wind Rangers that we're gonna see way later. But I feel like the problem is like Spirit Breakers, Void Spirits, Pangoliers, extended lane states, and you're not a strong laner, similar to Draw Ranger. But your stats are just better than the Draw and the Sniper, so that's why you belong in the C tier. TA could actually be in the B tier, but we're talking about the carry, not about the mid lane. So I believe that TA is going to be a mid laner soon because we've seen a lot of Pangos, a lot of Void Spirits, and, well, TA destroys these heroes, right? So it's a matter of time until we see this. It's all about lane stage, especially in the mid lane. And so it's time that we will see, like, maybe in a month, maybe like less than that, we will see that it's about time that TA is going to be back to the mid lane and it's going to try to stomp these heroes that are just getting level 6 and they're just running right and left by dominating the lane. Riki, a hero that it was 8 tier in 7.33, he just got too much nerfs, and in my mind, it's just like a Weaver dominating the lane, getting a diffusal, which he can get away with that because there are not enough sentries around the game, right? And the rest of the heroes are just, I feel like they're just not really good. CK could also be in the D tier. Arc Warden, I don't see in the safe lane because he has the same problems as Shadow Fiend, too squeezy. Lone Druid, well, if you're Matumba Man or Koikva, sure, otherwise not. And Pads, well, I don't think it's like D tier. I think you might have a potential just because, you know, I think you're getting nerfed a lot by Diffusal and by Mage Slayer, but maybe if you just snowball the lane stage, you can actually get a lot of flash saves. Now, Prophet, if you've seen this guide, you know that I love him as support. In my mind, it's like B tier in support. And of course, I feel like the region he has really bad reputation, but I think like people are gonna pick him. That's why I'm like, there's no way he's gonna be D tier now that I'm thinking about it, right? I think that Prophet with the teleportation, getting extra stacks, and of course level 15 talent that you get like 100 damage. Actually, he has some potential global presence. It's really nice. So we're gonna go to the B tier right now, okay? And the B tier right now are Monkey King, Void, Juggernaut, Bloodseeker, Muerta, and Troll, okay? So Monkey King, I think Monkey King is a hero that is really good for mana fighting, and you can actually have a really strong laning stage and really strong mid game. And the most important thing is you can actually be versatile. You can go Echo Saber Desolator, you can go Echo Saber Diffusal. Let's say if you play versus Dusa, right? You can actually go Echo Saber into, I really don't like Battle Fury in my mind because I find it a little bit slow. In my opinion, Maelstrom, I find it even more less likely to actually get. To be honest, Battle Fury, you can go Echo Saber into Battle Fury, that's also still a fine option, right? But in my mind, the itemization, the versatility, the fact you can just buy Scuddy, BKB, scout around the map, be mobile around a huge map is what makes him a B tier. Void, I think is a hero that is promising, but you need to know one thing, right? Void is a fine laner unless you could play versus some kind of Venomancer, but I feel like the problem with Void is that if you guarantee that the game's gonna go after 30 minutes in, then you have some really good chance of winning. But I don't know when, because you need like Mask of Madness, Miles from BKB to fight, right? But by the time you have these items, I really don't know what's going to be the stage of the game. For all I know, they can be outside of your high ground by the time you don't even have like BKB, right? And you might like struggle a lot to fight, right? And also you're an ultimate dependent hero. And I really don't like that, where the A tier and the S tier really don't rely on cooldowns to fight compared to Void, that's all about Chronosphere. Juggernaut, I think he has a strong lane, just like Void. I don't think they're like great in the lane. I think they have both really good lane states, and I think the same thing. You always go for Battle Fury, and then you go for S and Y. And usually, like the idea is to go and man fight and Blade Dance, for example. You get the level 20 talent Blade Dance lifesteal, and the idea behind Juggernaut right now is not to play around his shard, rather than to play with Aghanim's and really have this heavily stat hero that relies on right clicks. Right, 50% Blade Dance lifesteal is pretty good. So I think that Juggernaut could be, to be honest, even like C tier, but I think it's like somewhere B and C tier, right? But I think like he has some, if you have a really good lane partner, just like a CM, just like Glitch, and you get to snowball, I really believe he's good to go, right? Now, Bloodseeker is a hero that we've seen a lot, you know, from teams like Liquid, for example, and I think he has some potential, again, due to the fact that you get really fast BKB, so you can just go for something like Miles from BKB into a Mjolnir and then you just get shard. I've seen a lot of Aghanims as well. But the idea is like good laning stage, good mid game, so it's like snowball. And if you're like coming from ahead, you can actually deal with the A tier and the S tier as well. And you have some good chances, assuming that you will win your laning stage. Muerta, a hero that we don't really get to see that much. I love Muerta. Flash farming, you can get a level 7, level 8, you get something like Mask of Madness into Maelstrom, into Dragonlance, into a Mjolnir, or into Adapt BKB and stuff. Mask of Madness is really good, actually, to farm Ancients. And I think you can also get Roshan. Your shard is really good. you get to play with heroes like, generally the support meta right now, there are a lot of good babysitters like Undying and CM, so Murder really is a strong laner, and I think she's good to go. And then my really beloved troll, strong laner, just like Bloodseeker, strong mid game, can get Roshan, can actually get Shard, definitely, he can just pick it up solo, but you know, Shard, sadly in the low ranks, they don't really get to give it that much attention. In the pro scene, the same thing, and in my bracket, we actually get to play a little bit around that, but people are just not all around Shard, right? But it's still a bonus. And I think like Troll, similar to Mind Kicking, it's really versatile. So you get this, for example, Battle Fury, and then what do? You have S and Y, you can just get Manta, you can just get BKB, you can just go, if you play versus Dutch, you can just go Diffusal. You're really versatile, and the fact that you can use items since 7.33 means you can use Abyssal, means you can use Silver Edge, means you can use BKB after you have used your ultimate. So I think that definitely Troll has a really good matchup versus all of these heroes, to be honest, and definitely the D tier. But he gets slightly to struggle against these heroes. So what are these heroes, right? So first of all, Wind Ranger. I think Wind Ranger, like, it's not S tier, and I'm gonna say why. It's not S tier because this hero has the unique ability to focus on only one hero, and she can get kited. She's really annoying, she can get cycled and very far. I know she's the most picked, most high win rate hero in the Immortal. I don't know if that's still the case, but I think this was the case until I was recording that. But the problem like I have as Wind Ranger is that actually if you just hard lock the hero, like I've played many times with Magnus, that Wind Ranger would just focus me. I was something like, I don't know, this was like Crystal Maiden, and then my Magnus were to like RP, boom, like you, and it's like, okay, she's dead. Literally, just, and then you can also get to kite her with some like Ghost Scepter early item, and she needs to buy something like Nullifier early on. Of course, items like Aghanim's make her really powerful, and of course, now that you see all the list, Wind Ranger gets to hard counter, for example, all of these heroes almost, right? For example, a really good counter versus PA, a really good counter versus Shadowfiend, insane versus Ursa. So you get to understand that when there is this universal Wind Ranger in the A tier, all of the C tier and the B tier might struggle, even though the B tier can get MKB, you have the Chrono, you have the Ultimate Control, natural MKB carrier as well. So you can see that there is like really good chance from the B tier to kill the A tier. Slark, we know that Medusa is the S tier. If you didn't know that until now, you do now. But you have some really good chances. The problem I have with Slark is that he's not the strongest laner, but again, you can be so versatile. You can go Echo Saber into Axe, you can go Diffusal into Echo Saber, you can go Echo Saber into Diffusal. You can be as versatile as possible, and most importantly, we're in a map where centers are limited and vision are limited, and you can get to D-ward everything. So definitely Slark is your hero to go. PL, too strong, fine laning stage. You can actually flash farm level 6, flash farm, you can get ancients from level 7, level 8. Of course, stay in your safe lane unless they actually kick you out, and they actually put a lot of resources to kick you out. So PL, I think she's really good. Manta, Diffusal, and then you can just go hard, you can just go Skadi, or you can go maybe left Axe. That's up to you, but you need to versatile, you need to be versatile, right? And then Naga Siren, and the reason why Naga Siren is A tier is actually for the Naga Siren players. Unlike Terrorblade, for example, he could be A tier to be honest. Naga Siren requires, of course, same amount of micro, but you can actually split push just like Terrorblade around the map and just make moves. But the difference is Naga Siren has a solo kill potential where Terrorblade does not. For example, Naga Siren, you can even pressure Medusa with something like early Manta Diffusal, right? And I think for the Naga players, it's gonna be A tier, but I feel like honestly, she's a really hard hero to execute, but still, she deserves a spot in the A tier. I can't really put Naga in the B tier, because also if you see Naga versus all the bot heroes, like the B tier heroes, then she has a really good matchup. She really does. Like, Juggernaut is not to be scared of. Void, she's usually too tanky to deal with unless Void is really farmed. Troll, kinda joking, right? Muerta can actually kill her, you know, but she also farms really fast. And I think, again, well deserved. And we're gonna go to the S tier. We know Medusa is there, but she's not the only hero. And we have actually Morphling. Yes. So Medusa, there is nothing to say about the hero. If you play versus heroes that might burst you, you get Manta into Skadi. If you play versus heroes that a lot of right clicks versus agility hero, Manta into Butterfly. And of course, versus, for example, something like Anti-Mage, you get Dragonlance Yasuo into Butterfly, you don't get Manta style, and you just go high ground, and you're just flash farming. And, you know, you don't even need like that much resources to win the lane, you farm extremely well. The moment the Manta comes out, you can just get to use the Manta illusion to push waves. Is really, the numbers are just too good. There is nothing to say here. The numbers are just too good for Dusa, right? And She could even be like S plus tier, to be honest. She's that good, right? And then we go on Morphling. Why is Morphling all of a sudden a hero? There are like two reasons. First of all, Morphling is a hero that benefits a lot from the Axe. The Axe is really good, and of course, with Wind Ranger being in the meta, if you use your Axe, and you transform and you steal the stats from a universal, you in reality get so much more stats, right? And you have so much damage. So in reality, whenever universal heroes like Wind Ranger is in every single game, this guy is in every single game. Compared to Medusa, I would say it's like 55-45. Medusa, of course, is stronger because she's a natural scatter carrier, and of course, he farms way faster than a Morphling Arion because it has the Manta style. And the Manta style from the Medusa, the split illusions are gonna farm way faster than a Morphling. But nevertheless, Morphling, if you're a Morphling player, is extremely good versus PL. He's really good at Manta. You can just get Dragonlance, you can just fight early on. And the way you build Morphling right now, you just get Adaptive Strike maxed. And your laning stage is actually pretty good, I would say, right? So I think that Morphling deserves S tier just because I don't think A tier, if there was a tier in between A and S, Morphling would be inside, but I think that definitely he deserves that. And the reason why all these heroes, for example, the B tier, can actually deal with both of them if they're ahead or they itemize, and the A tier just have more chance. For example, Slark, I would say it's like 60-40 to win like Dusa and the Slark, sorry, not Slark, and the Morphling right now. Just like PL, just like Wind Ranger, just like Naga have decent chance of winning the S tier category, but chances are these heroes are gonna have the better laning stage, they're gonna snowball faster because they have way less to do because the numbers are just too good, right? And if you see like the C tier right now and the D tier and the C tier, there's no way they're gonna be able to burst any of those natural scatter heroes, especially all the strength heroes, and of course even like the agility heroes, there's not a chance. They're just too tanky. Simply to simplify that, they just don't have the damage. The B tier can actually manage to win the A tier and the S tier. Of course, the chances are in the S tier, right? And of course, right now this is a tier list. And in my opinion, these are the best heroes to actually play. Medusa, Morphling, and then Wind Ranger, A tier, Slark, extremely good hero. PL, of course, I'm not a Naga player. You can see that I haven't played that. I used to play that in the past as support. And of course, all these heroes are playable. My favorite, I feel like Muerta. I have a little bit more, I love Muerta and Troll. They're like more of a my style type of heroes, high tempo heroes, get Roshan early, get the edges, pressure, right? And then in the C tier, I still have faith in the Ursa in the lower brackets. Some of my students have actually tremendous success with this. And Phantom Assassin, we're still working on that. And Prophet, I actually still believe Prophet, give it a thought. D tier is actually unplayable. And why would you ever play that chat? Don't even think about that. If you do have any questions though, I'm happy to answer below. Feel free to write down below in the comments if you have questions, if you want like specific things to elaborate that. And of course, I will have to mention that if you want to join in a community and if you want to be part of us and you want to have like coaching, replays, get to know with other players, become team and so on, make sure you join our beloved community. We're creating something really great right now, and there's a link gonna be down below. You can apply that and you can join us. Make sure you don't miss out. It's a great opportunity. Waiting for your comments. GG Raza, and I'll see you in the next video.